up. Some are calling it a hate crime. A monument on campus is defaced. Now police are searching for the vandals.
1 in 59 children in our country is diagnosed with autism. We'll introduce you to a special camp meant just for them.
It was really hard at first.
And students react to the Tar Heels' surprising loss in the NCAA tournament.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Silent Sam might be gone, but the site is still a flashpoint on campus. Good afternoon, I'm Peyton Walker.
And I'm Brighton McConnell. Let's go straight to our top story. The Unsung Founders Memorial is meant to honor the enslaved people who helped build the university. Over the weekend, it became the target for vandals. Reporter Madison Forsey joins us live from McCorkle Place with the latest. Madison?
Well, Brighton, right now, UNC police are still looking for 2 vandals they believe defaced 2 different public art pieces, including one right behind me, with racist language. Well, over the weekend, according to an incident report filed Sunday, suspects defaced the Unsung Founders Memorial with permanent marker and urine, and a second art installment outside of Haynes Art with marker. Police informed Lindsay Ailing and Maya Little, 2 campus activists, that the racist language written on the public art pieces was directed towards them. Both tweeted that they were not told exactly what the message said. More than anything, campus leaders want the 2 suspects to be brought to justice.
No one should be allowed to come and make students feel unsafe here. We are hoping to move forward somehow and listen to the student body more than anything and take those concerns to them and hopefully keep the pressure on South Building to make sure that actions are taken.
Well, Interim Chancellor Gus Kowitz issued a statement Sunday night saying that this kind of lawless behavior will not be tolerated on campus. For now, CHPD has put up a barrier around the Unsung Founders Memorial to try to keep something like this from happening again. In Chapel Hill, Madison Forsey, Carolina Week.
Madison Forsey, live from McCorkle Place.
It's the announcement that sent shockwaves across campus. UNC women's basketball coach Sylvia Hatchell and her entire staff have been put on leave indefinitely. Carolina Week sports reporter Elena Pirtle joins us live from the studio with the latest. Elena?
Peyton, just when it seemed like UNC women's basketball was turning a corner, the program has been shaken to its core. Coach Sylvia Hatchell has been in Chapel Hill for more than 30 years and won more than 1,000 games at UNC. But on Monday, the university announced she would be put on leave while an investigation into the culture of the program was conducted. The 4th winningest college women's coach of all time, Hatchell captured her only national championship with the Tar Heels in 1994, with Charlotte Smith making a dramatic shot at the buzzer to seal the win. Adding to the news, players Kennedy Boyd, Jocelyn Jones, Destiny Walker, and Stephanie Watts have announced they're pursuing transfers away from the program. Despite the timing of their announcement, the players have not specifically said they are leaving because of the investigation. Peyton?
That's Elena Pirtle live in studio. Thanks, Elena.
Turning to men's basketball now, the season didn't end the way the Tar Heels had hoped, and as our reporter Keaton Everly shows us, the players weren't the only ones who lost out.
Just 2 years ago, Franklin Street was flooded with screaming fans celebrating the school's 6th national title. But this year, that's not even a possibility. The Tar Heels' loss in the Sweet 16 against Auburn on Friday night hit UNC fans hard, and it's hitting some local businesses even harder. During March Madness, business booms, especially at Chapel Hill staples like Top of the Hill. But once the madness dissipates, so does the prospect of increased revenues from game day crowds. Just ask Julia Gallagher, part-time server and part-time patron. In less than a week, Gallagher's already noticed a dip in her tips.
People pretty much only come in sometimes to watch the games, and when there's no game to watch, people aren't coming in. So there's a lot of money lost there.
A recent study shows the NCAA men's basketball tournament raises overall restaurant profits by 2.4% nationwide. And in cities with tournament teams like Chapel Hill, this number soars to 11.8% over the course of the entire tournament. So is there a correlation between UNC's NCAA tournament success and Topo's revenue? Floor manager Sequoia Kreider says without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. When we're in the tournament throughout the whole thing, we stay busy pretty frequently.
Gallagher, who's also a UNC senior, says spring weather and Carolina basketball have always been a winning combination for Franklin Street businesses.
By having a game, and especially like in March and like April now, it's really nice out, so people are more inclined to go out, and it's nice to just like sit and have a beer and drink.
Even without UNC basketball, Topo and other local businesses will continue to draw customers, just not the crowd that they had hoped for. In Chapel Hill, I'm Keaton Eberly reporting.
Now, Topo's manager does expect good business for the rest of the tournament, but it will be nothing like it was during the 2017 National Championship when students camped out overnight to get a spot inside the restaurant.
Tuition for out-of-state students at UNC is nearly quadruple that of in-state students, and it's almost triple the cost at NC State. Now those price tags could climb even higher. North Carolina lawmakers are considering a bill that would raise tuition for out-of-state students as a way to cover costs for those living in-state. Out-of-state undergraduates at Carolina and NC State would pay at least $5,000 more in tuition. If passed, the out-of-state student tuition increase at the two universities would go into effect starting in the fall 2019 semester.
UNC students are known for their school pride, and apparel plays a big part in that. Now the Carolina gear that you'll see in student stores will come from a North Carolina company. The university has announced a partnership with Winston-Salem's Hanesbrand Incorporated to make the company its primary licensed apparel manufacturer. As part of the agreement, Hanesbrand's guaranteed a 40% growth in royalties for the university. Nike and Jordan Brand will continue to produce athletic uniforms and licensed fan apparel too. The deal will stay in place for the next 10 years.
And coming up, nearly 2% of American children are autistic. We'll take you to a place with a mission to nurture kids on the autism spectrum.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
A heartbreaking story coming out of the University of South Carolina. A student was murdered after getting into a car she thought was her Uber.
We go to Mallory Marks live in studio for more on this story and what Uber users can do to ensure their safety. Mallory?
21-year-old Samantha Josephson went out with friends in an area of Columbia, South Carolina that's similar to Franklin Street here in Chapel Hill. She called an Uber just like millions do every year, but she accidentally got into the wrong car. Police say the driver of that car killed Josephson, and now law enforcement is offering tips to make sure you stay safe when using Uber. When you call an Uber, you'll get this screen. Here you can see a picture of your driver, their name, the make and model of the car, and a license plate number. When your Uber arrives, check that all of these things match up. When you open the door, don't ask, "Are you my ride?" Instead ask, "Who are you picking up?" A real Uber driver will know your name. Map your own route during the ride and make sure the driver is not veering off the route. And finally, wait for your ride indoors if possible. There have also been reports of people falsely using the Lyft and Uber emblems in their window, so even if a car has all of these emblems, you should still follow these tips to ensure your safety. Peyton?
Mallory Marks reporting. Thanks, Mallory.
Women's groups across campus are gearing up for the first ever UNC Women's March. The event will begin with a resource fair this Sunday at 12:30 p.m. at the Bell Tower Amphitheater. Attendees will then march through campus, stopping to listen to speakers and enjoy performances. One of the event organizers, Jordan Young, says the goal is female visibility and support.
I conceptualized the march because a lot has been happening lately on campus in terms of sexual misconduct and disrespect towards women. So I thought it would be great if we had a women's march here on campus for the students and also the greater community, so that we could really come together from our different pockets of campus as women and support each other.
Young says she hopes the UNC Women's March will become an annual event.
April is National Autism Awareness Month, and one local organization is working to create a space where children on the autism spectrum can grow socially and emotionally. Reporter Miriam Mohammed takes us there.
Doctors diagnosed Aaron O'Loughlin's son Marcus with severe autism at the age of 3, causing Aaron to readjust her entire life.
He needs structure, and when he would track out, he would get very disoriented and needed something to do. And with our home routine and my 2 other kids, life would get out of sorts for him.
She realized nothing affordable existed in the Triangle to meet the needs of her son, so she quickly got to work. She founded Camp Bluebird, a division of 3 Bluebirds farm that provides track out and summer camp services for school-aged children with autism.
One thing led to another, and a small seed grew into a big tree, and then before I knew it, I started thinking about the future as well.
She believes facilities like this help provide children with autism the routine and consistency they need to live up to their full potential.
Our program's very recreational. It's a camp, but it's extremely structured.
In the United States, there are only about 25 facilities designed with the needs of children and adults with autism in mind.
For the first time in a very long time, I can send my child somewhere other than school and not have to worry about him all day while I'm at work.
Lots of parents are in her shoes. In the United States, 1 in 59 children are diagnosed with autism, and it's 4 times as more common in boys than in girls. Doctors diagnosed Montoya Rouse's son Mason with autism when he was 2.
He's nonverbal, so he can't tell me how his day is or how he's been treated. So I have to pay attention to cues of how he interacts with the people that are caring for him. And he loves Miss Erin and Miss Andrea and the other people that are there. He loves them. So I know and I feel in my heart that my child is taken care of.
She says it's been a struggle trying to find services that accommodate Mason's needs.
For me, another challenge is just protecting him from the cruel people. It's just a matter of making sure he knows how brilliant he is, how amazing he is, how important he is, how loved he is. Because he is.
She dreams that one day Mason will be self-sufficient. Kimberly Lopez is a special education teacher who helps children like Mason achieve that goal. Kimberly says services like those Camp Bluebird provides are critical in maintaining a child's progress during long breaks.
So they're kind of mimicking the structure of the classroom too, but more in a camp setting when our students go home and they lose that structure of our day. When they come back, it's really hard for them to transition back.
Camp Bluebird is only a stepping stone for Aaron's overall vision of having a residential farm that truly helps those living with autism.
So many of these organizations pop up because it's a parent who's desperate for help and they can't get it. All of us know somebody with autism. It needs to be all of our priority to do something about it. It's on all of our shoulders. It's not just, oh, that person over there, it's their problem, not mine. It's all of our problems.
She says with just a little help, people working with those with autism can dig in to find their special gifts and allow them to blossom in a different way. In Holly Springs, I'm Miriam Mohammed reporting.
Camp Bluebird staff says their current location is serving as a pilot program. Their hope is to create similar spaces across the state and eventually across the country.
It's the end of the line for the proposed Durham Orange Light Rail project. Go Triangle has announced they are scrapping the project completely. This comes about a month after Duke University withdrew from the project. The light rail, which officials hoped would reduce congestion on Interstate 40, create jobs for residents, and provide easy access between UNC and Duke hospitals, cost $130 million in local tax dollars to plan and design. Now that the project is a no-go, Go Triangle is expected to lose $1.25 billion in federal funding.
This year's Jubilee concert will be unlike one you've ever seen. In addition to the April 13th concert, Jubilee will also include a full-day festival. The event will take place in Hooker Fields from noon until 5. There will be carnival games, giveaways, food, all of which are free and open to the public. QAB organizers say they're excited to add this new and exciting twist to an annual event.
And so I think my biggest thing is being able to attract all these different crowds and making sure that QUB is providing for every single member of the Carolina community.
Black will be the headliner for this year's concert.
Well, we needed coats and umbrellas earlier this week, and now students are out today in shorts and sandals.
So will this warm weather last? Let's go to Haley Boland for our Franklin Street forecast.
As I'm sure you all have noticed, we are on the roller coaster that is spring in Chapel Hill. This week started out quite cold with highs in only the 30s and 40s, forcing you to bring out your winter coat towards the end of March. However, you can see now that that's not the case. Students out here are enjoying the beautiful spring weather, and it will feel like spring for the rest of the week. So let's take a look at the next 5 days. Today is a beautiful sunny day with a high of 71, and Thursday's looking quite similar with a high of 72. Now Friday brings with it a 60% chance of rain, so be sure to bring your umbrella for those April showers. Saturday will be one of the warmer days of the week with a high of 76, and it will be sunny, so be sure to get back out on the quad to check out that weather. Sunday also brings with it another slight chance of rain, so you're going to need to get that umbrella again. That's all I have for you for this week's Carolina Week weather. I'm Haley Boland.
Coming up, no one takes the floor quite like Kaja Hillslop. Carolina Week Sports after the break.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Colleen Brown. Head football coach Mack Brown held a press conference Tuesday and talked about his expectations for the upcoming spring game.
Day, a huge recruiting day for us, and something that people start marking their calendars for, where we'll get it where we'll have a full game there. We'll have a good game this time, but we won't be able to have a full complement of kicking and punting and all that because we're not deep enough.
The football spring game is scheduled for April 13th and is free for all fans. And everybody, the game must go on, and it did. The men's golf team battled through high winds and rain on Tuesday at the Haight College Invitational. UNC and Louisville were tied at second going into the last day of competition. Ryan Gerard finished at 11th overall with a 4 over par for the tournament, but it just wasn't enough. The Heels settled for a second place after Tennessee stormed in and won by 13 strokes in the downpour. The men's golf team will return to action on April 12th against Arizona State. And in tennis news, the 11th ranked men's team is currently playing NC State at home. While the Heels are 13 and 4 overall, they have dropped 2 ACC matches already to Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. Now, this home match against the lower-ranked State should be a win ahead of the ACC Conference Championship later this month. And senior Blaine Boyden and junior William Blumberg look to pull out the win in doubles today. They were just named the men's doubles tennis team of the week by the ACC. And for those of you still mourning the Tar Heels Sweet 16 exit at the hands of Auburn, I have some recruiting news for you. Let's start with the Heels who need to be replaced. Luke May, Kenny Williams, and Cam Johnson are all graduating. Now, these three combined for more than 1,400 points this season and will leave a leadership vacuum for sure. On Monday, Nasir Little confirmed he'll leave Carolina for the NBA draft. And get this, guys, this is breaking news here. Kobe White just announced he will head to the NBA. Bleacher Report and ESPN have White going 10th in their mock drafts. So who can replace any of these players? UNC has a handful of high-level recruits on the way. Armando Bacot is a 5-star top 25 center out of Richmond who will likely start. Jeremiah Francis is a 3-star point guard out of Ohio. Now, Francis is an unknown after multiple knee injuries, including an ACL tear, kept him off the court for 2 years. Staying healthy and in shape will be his biggest challenge. And finally, there is 5-star combo guard Cole Anthony. Now, Anthony hasn't committed anywhere yet, but UNC is in his top 4. He'll make his decision on April 20th. Now, put simply, Kaja Hislop is an absolute beast. Whether she's competing in floor, vault, or beam, she makes it look easy. Our Elena Pirtle got Hislop to stand still long enough to find out which event she enjoys the most.
Hislop is dominant in all 3 events she competes in. Floor is her favorite.
I just like how much fun you can have during floor. Like your teammates are right beside you, kind of doing your routine with you. I think it's just, you have to bring everything about gymnastics, like the artistry, you know, your rhythm, powerful tumbling. It just kind of comes all together and it's a lot of fun.
Hislop says there are only a few things going through her head during a routine.
I try and focus on the details, really, like my toes and how I'm punching the floor and stuff, but also not getting too into my head and just kind of knowing that my body is going to do what it knows how to do and just trying to stay calm and cool in my head and just having fun and smiling.
Head coach Derek Galvin says coaching Hislop is a lot of fun.
She's everything that any coach could hope and dream of having in a student. Does looks good. And then you add the tremendous athletic power that she's blessed with, and she can do things that a lot of gymnasts can't do.
Galvin describes Hislop as regal.
Kaja's obviously very talented, but she also has an amazing work ethic, and she really focuses on detail. Her trademark is her elegance, the beauty that she shows in her dance, and the amplitude and height that she gets in her tumbling. Those are all trademarks of hers.
At the Eagle Championships this year, Hislop not only tied for first on floor, but also first on vault and second on beam. Heading into NCAA regionals this weekend, Hislop has only one thing on her mind.
This is the last time I'm going to be doing this routine in front of this team, so just having that in my head, like one more of this routine, so enjoy it.
Hislop finished the regular season with a national qualifying score of 9.925 and will keep striving for that perfect 10 in her floor routines. In Chapel Hill, I'm Elena Pirtle reporting.
For the 2019 regular season, she'll compete in the Athens Regional this weekend on floor, vault, and beam. Now that's all for Carolina Week Sports. Be sure to check out Sports Extra Monday at 4 for more Carolina sports coverage.
And coming up, the season is over for the Carolina Tar Heels men's basketball team. How fans are handling the loss when we return.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Well, the dance is over for the Carolina men's basketball team.
And the players aren't the only ones upset to not play in the Final Four. I went to the Union to find out how are Carolina fans handling the end to a great season.
Hey, Tar Heels. I think I speak for all of us when I say it's been a rough couple of days. And I don't want to make Carolina's elimination from the tournament any harder than what it's already been. So let's just get right to it and see how we're doing.
'Cause you had a bad day, you take it one down.
It's discouraging, especially because my bracket is now toast. And I actually needed Duke to win for my bracket to be
double loss.
Double loss.
You know, it was really hard at first. I guess like an hour or two after the game, nothing felt real for a while, but
we just learned in psychology about coping with stress, and so I think I've been more like rationalizing, like, okay, like they were having a bad time, they had the flu.
It was tough. You know, during the game, my friends and I were really upset. Someone even drove back to their apartment to put on a pair of Lucky socks.
I'm doing okay. Right after the loss, I was very upset and not doing so well that night.
All right, I can't take it anymore. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the fact that Duke has also been eliminated.
Duke is the worst. It's so much better when they lose.
Everyone just started cheering, and I was like, oh, I don't know what's happening. But then I checked, and I was like, yes!
I think I celebrated more them losing than any of our game wins.
I'm surprised, but pretty happy about it.
I jumped up and down and screamed when I saw them lose. It was probably, like, it's just been a great week because Duke lost. It has honestly, like, set my week off on the right foot.
Do you find reason to get up?
There is none.
How are you here?
You
just pushed through? I know who else pushed through? Cam Johnson with the flu. He pushed through. All right, Brian, how are you doing? How's your soul? How are you doing emotionally?
You know, I'm doing okay. Friday night was pretty tough. No lie. But as soon as the game was over, I went to my computer. I typed in 2017 National Championship game. I hit play, watched the whole thing.
That's all you got to remember.
Yeah, it definitely helps soften the blow a little bit.
Very true, very true. I understand that completely. That's going to do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.